Welcome to another episode of IKONTUBE, a show dedicated to the influencers industry. Before we jump into the interview, I am excited to let you know that we recently launched our podcast. Now, not only can you watch our interviews, but also you can listen to them on all podcast platforms. Just search for IKONTUBE on your podcast app and listen to your favorite interviews. Today, I'm with a self-made millionaire and entrepreneur who's dedicated her life to financial empowerment for women. She is a business mentor to successful entrepreneurs and creates widely popular digital courses. I am glad to welcome Money Queen, Amanda Francis. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, let's start at the beginning of your life. Well, not like all the way at the beginning, because obviously you don't remember that, but your childhood, you grew up in Oklahoma. So tell us a little bit about that and your family. What are they like?
So I am from a tiny, modest town outside Tulsa. It felt, I think, too small for me always. I was pretty young thinking, God, why did you drop me here? Like, what was this about? This seemed like a good idea. This is where I'm supposed to be. So I always knew I would leave. And I always had a bit of a fascination with LA because it was on the TV. It was like all the shows, right? So I don't think it's shocking completely that I ended up here. It was a long journey to get here. And my family, I mean, my dad worked at a steel mill, same company for 35 years. My mom stayed home and cleaned houses. My dad also umpired, but it was pretty...
Baseball? Umpired?
Softball.
Softball.
Yeah, because I played softball and he coached me and then he got into it. Then he umped for a long time and then it was like his side gig, but we could use the money. It was it was. But I mean, pretty traditional in the sense that like, my dad mostly worked, my mom mostly stayed home. And I mean, I don't know, like I was not shocking. Very productive as a child, definitely wanted to make straight A's, played like all the sports, did all the things, was very like busy and goal-oriented and me.
Did you have like a business when you were a kid, like lemonade stand or anything like that?
No, I wish I did, because all the good entrepreneurs started making money when they're like 3, and it didn't occur to me until I was an actual adult that I needed to figure out how to make money.
So it wasn't your path.
Well, I mean, I always had a job, and I was always being creative inside my job. Like I remember thinking, I need to be a hostess here so I can become a server here as soon as I turn 18. Like that's my plan. And I remember being like, I need to go be a server here instead of here because the tips will be better because the meals cost more. Like I was always strategizing. Once I became a nanny, I was like, instead of working for one family, I should be working for like 5 families part-time instead of one family full-time, less responsibility, more money, better hours. I was always me, but I mean, I don't know.
Just not applied to what it is you do today with the digital courses and your book and everything.
I was always strategizing, but not with lemonade stands. It would be a better entrepreneur story if I had, though.
You know what? It's better that it isn't lemonade stand because it makes you unique, and you are unique, and you've never done anything like traditionally per se.
Okay, that's a good angle. So I wasn't traditional in my early childhood business endeavors or anything else I've ever done.
Exactly.
I'll take it. Okay.
It's right. It's totally in line with who you are as Amanda. Now you're getting to where you are in business now, being a business mentor and having your digital courses. You were originally on a path to do therapy, mental health training. You were studying to be a minister.
Yeah.
So how did all of that end up to where you are today?
My life is crazy. So out of high school, I went to Bible college. I got a 2-year ministry training degree, moved to a church in Florida as an intern, and that was my path. Like I was going to do all of this, but inside Christianity was the idea. Like I still want to write books, I still want to speak, I still want to teach, but it's going to be in like the church world. And it didn't take long to realize that like all of this wasn't fitting very well into that world. They don't like it if you say fuck at church. It's like looked down upon, you know?
Yeah, they do. They pray for you when you do that.
Yeah, so it wasn't like I needed to go be rebellious or something and that's why I left. It's just like it wasn't fitting anymore. It was something like the God that I know that lives in me or the God I feel isn't making sense in the in this religious situation anymore. So I'm not leaving God, but I am leaving whatever all of this was. And I did. So I left. And then I went to college. I needed to go to a college that would take my Bible school credits. So I ended up at Oral Roberts University. So I'm like, how old was I? I'm like 22, going to college for the first time, like real college. And so like I'm in these freshman like Bible classes, and I'm like a 22-year-old woman, and I'm like living in a dorm, and it was very crazy. But I like did 18-hour semesters and fit 3 years of college into 2 years, and I got my psychology degree. Then I moved to Texas and started my master's in counseling degree. And mental health counseling like was the plan, but I was gonna do it the same way. Once again, I'm still gonna write the books. I'm still gonna be the teacher and the author and the speaker and do the stuff. But I'm gonna have a private practice as well, which made more sense like financially. I was always oriented toward finding success, obviously. And it was kind of the same story. I'm in my PhD program, and I feel like I have more to give than I'm allowed to give in that space. I want an online presence. I want to reach the masses. And in the world I was in, it was like very limited counselor education looked at in a very certain way. And that wasn't for me either.
No, you broke that mold. You broke that box.
So
I mean, this was at the time, like set the stage too. Like this was when, you know, internet businesses were just sort of becoming what they are, and you know, social media was becoming what it is now today. Or was it even like, was Facebook even happening then?
Facebook was happening. Instagram wasn't really happening. I had like glimpses and glimmers of what online personal development could be and what it might become, and some people doing it in interesting ways. It hasn't been how I ended up doing it, but there was enough inspiration for me to say, I think if I leave this world, this traditional way of doing things, I think if I leave, I can make it on my own in this completely different way. But I'm scared to death because I'm in the middle of like, I'm at the #1 counselor education program in the world. I worked my ass off to get here. I already walked away from ministry. Like,
am I going to walk away from this too?
And I'm going to walk away from this thing. Yeah, I thought in both scenarios, I felt like I was going crazy when I abandoned the life path. But I think you kind of have to follow your desires. It's so cliche, but you have to truly follow your heart and what you want. Like when we believe, we're convinced that if it's unrealistic or if it isn't logical or practical, we can't make it work, so we don't go for the bigger dreams. But the bigger dream is so much more interesting, and we have so much more passion and desire and motivation when we go to the big unrealistic thing instead of the safe thing. So, I mean, I was on my own. I had to make it work. I was still nannying. I had started a life coaching business midway through my master's program. I had a few clients. I could piece things together and support myself. I think I was still cocktail serving at the time. Like, we had a lot going on.
Oh, yeah.
But I like needed to put everything into that coaching business and learn how to build an online presence if I was gonna live out the kind of vision that was like forming in my mind. Does that make sense?
Yes, that makes total sense.
Yeah.
So now you're living out that vision in your mind, probably even bigger than what you had thought. Is it different? Like, what did you think at that time? Like, did you really think you would be Amanda Francis now, where you have all these super successful digital courses and now a book and a podcast and you're a content creator and an influencer? Like, did you think that this exactly would be where you would be?
No, because it didn't exist yet. But that's the thing about all of it. When I was deciding to do the ministry thing or the mental health thing, life coaching didn't exist yet. No. When I was deciding to go online, Instagram barely existed. So it's like, if you're gonna be at the cutting edge of what you do, it can't make sense. There can't be a full laid out path. You're gonna have to kind of be the trailblazer, you know?
Yeah.
So what did it look like in my mind? It looked like figuring out a way to help a lot of people at once and make a lot of money. It was never just one or the other. I needed to figure out income and impact, like success and significance, meaning and money. Like I knew I needed both to have a happy life. And I did not know what that meant, but I knew that's what I was moving toward.
You knew your purpose. That's what I'm hearing.
I had like a desire, deep passion desire in me to do a certain kind of thing, but like the thing didn't exist yet.
Yeah.
Like, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's amazing. I think a lot of people in business and entrepreneurs think just maybe the end, like, I just want to make money. I just want to be rich.
Yeah.
And they miss the whole, like, what's your purpose? What do you really deeply want to do? Or what inspires you? And it sounds like you've obviously got it figured out because you've done that. You've taken your purpose of wanting to help people and share. And your business programs are also so intertwined with the ministry and the life coaching. It's a combination. You've taken all of these things and put them together.
Yeah, it's like a true miracle. Like every single thing I did added up to what I do now. It looked like it didn't make sense. I looked crazy. I looked like I never would make money. I did not look like a success story on the rise. You know what I mean? But like the ministry things, or like just the way I view God and life and spirituality and co-creation and all of it, like that's so grounded in my religious background, right? And then the way I view like empathy and compassion and making space for other human beings and like loving them and accepting them where they are, that's all from my counseling degree. Like, and then the business owner stuff, I think is just my brain. I think I have a knack for being compelling and persuasive and encouraging and motivating, right? So like in a way, I was a natural marketer, but I'm a marketer with heart because I only sell things I actually think are helpful and I believe in. So I feel like my history mixed with my personality, like kind of set me up and is perfect for the things I do now. But once again, that wasn't foreseeable, you know?
Well, you were talking about your work as a business mentor, and last year you made $3.6 million, and this year you said you're set to make $5.2 million.
Yeah.
Tell us your secret. Like, what's the secret? You were talking about being compelling and selling from the heart, but tell us more about that.
So I think the biggest money secret and the thing that we all have a hard time wrapping our minds around money is like, I couldn't have fathomed $5 million 10 years ago when I started the business. I had to first fathom like a $30,000 a year and then a $50,000 a year. And then I had to really stretch to believe I could make six figures. And then I had to really, really stretch to believe I could make $500,000. So it's been incremental. Like when it's incremental increases, you can get yourself to believe in a little bit more over and over and over again. And then maybe there were moments where I would like, you know, double my money, like have a $10,000 a month and then a $20,000 a month. And that was crazy at the time, but that was double. And I was like, well, if I can double 10 to 20, can I double 20 to 40? But it's like nothing's possible till you ponder the idea that it could be possible. So like one of my biggest money secrets is I'm just willing to believe that I can go to the next level. And I spend a lot of time and energy normalizing it. I have to make 5 million normal to be okay with 5 million. Or else I'll manifest all kinds of crazy expenses that like take it away. So if I'm not comfortable with the number, the company's screwed. So that's kind of the whole thing, is if I think it's a big deal, then I can't feel normal having it, and you can't do that to yourself. So that'd be like probably the biggest money secret that I don't think people get or talk about.
No, they don't.
Yeah.
They don't. Tell us, since we're talking money, let's talk about your book, and then we can talk about your content creation. So tell us the name of your new book, because I want to hear you say it, and it's so good.
It's called Rich as Fuck, More Money Than You Know What to Do With.
And why a book? You've got digital courses that are incredible and teach people so much about making money and businesses, so why the book?
It's my job to be accessible, right? Like I have all these courses at all these different price points. Like my lowest offer is like $7 and my highest offer is above $100,000, right? So I think it's my job to meet people where they're at every level. And a lot of people get information through a book, a big chunk of the planet. So until I could sit down and take what I know and get it in the form of a book, I felt like I was like doing a disservice to corners of the world I might never reach. So the idea would be, you know, we get this book out and then over time, hopefully it's translated and we can like get it everywhere. But some people won't go to a podcast, won't go to Instagram, but they will go to a book. So it just felt like my job to figure out how to write one. Yes. So I did.
And it's all the secrets to become rich as fuck?
It's the journey of healing your relationship with money and doing a lot of the mental and energetic and emotional stuff we were just talking about, but at deeper levels, so we can be comfortable with money, so we can feel worthy with money, so we stop sabotaging money, so we stop identifying with the things that tell us that people like us could never have money. I had that as a lower middle class girl from Sand Springs, Oklahoma. People like me, from my family, from my town, this doesn't happen to them. I had to like work on shedding that identity. Like, so all these things I had to do to become someone who could have money and use it well and give and donate and invest and have real estate. Like, it's how I did all of that.
Yes. Now you're also a successful content creator, right? You've talked about the podcast, your YouTube channel, your courses, that's separate, but Instagram, all the things.
All the things.
So what does content creation mean for you and your business? What do you do with it? How does it help you?
So content creation to me is like the free thing. Like I spoke a minute ago about the range of price points for the offers. Like I feel like it's also my job. And I don't know how I intuitively knew this or why it just made sense to me from the beginning, but very first day one of my business, I was like, we're posting free content every day on Facebook. By we're, I mean me, because there was no team and no assistant. There was just me working a bunch of jobs. And what I didn't know at the time was that was gonna brand me as this personal development kind of guru. And over time, as I spoke more about business and money, that was gonna brand me as like a financial empowerment expert. So like as I just put out what I was learning or believing in or knowing, it taught people how to think of me, and it taught them to trust me, because if you like my free content every day, over time you're going to feel safer buying a course. So in that way it really supports the business, but it was really just my desire to have good, free, solid content on the interwebs.
Well, you did it, because you're making 5.2 million. So your free content is worth it. With a lot on your plate, right, do you believe that there is such a thing as a work-life balance, or is that a bunch of BS?
I hate when people talk about balance. It's so annoying, because what does it even mean, and what does it even look like? It feels like an unattainable goal to make women beat themselves up because they didn't do some certain thing the right amount of time that day or whatever.
Right.
Like, for me, it's more just like, are you happy inside your human experience? Are you peaceful? Do you trust yourself? Are you good with you inside you? Because I don't know what balance would ever mean. And another thing I'll say is my life got easier when I blurred all the lines. Like when it was work time and friend time and family time and social time and whatever, it was, when I separated it all, it was complicated. When I became willing to pull out my phone in a relaxing time if I felt motivated to work, but if I also felt comfortable to not work when I was supposed to be working on an airplane or whatever it was, when I blurred all the lines and dropped the idea of balance, I could just kind of flow in and out of all the segments of my life a lot more easily.
That makes total sense.
Yeah.
I found like getting rid of some of those structures just because they say to do. Again, you proving.
Like, what does it even mean? Like, you have to have a morning routine and an evening routine and a affirmation list and a gratitude list and balance. I don't even, like what do you even, it just feels like check boxes at that point when you're not doing what you want to do, but you think you're doing what you're supposed to do to be a balanced, good enough human.
Yeah, I think that's when a lot of people, they do all those things and they still are really unhappy. And they're like, but why? I have all these.
I did yoga and had green juice. And it's like, well, do you love yourself? Let's talk about that.
That's the stuff that matters, not the green juice. I mean,
I like green juice just fine, but yeah.
But yeah, that's not serving all of the business
all the
purposes.
Internal needs, yeah.
Yeah. Why don't you talk about any of the challenges you've faced as being a female business entrepreneur leader in this space?
People are assholes. I mean,
yeah, they are.
I'll start with that. But what I would say is, like, I don't know, the internet's a weird place. You can say anything to anyone anonymously. And what I find most is that if someone wants to be very cruel to me, they don't do it on their regular Instagram account. They go get an Instagram account where there's like 0 followers, 0 posts, following 0 people, and there's no picture. And then they come over to my page and say horrible things. And it's like, I'm not allowed to share my heart every day anonymously, so you're not allowed to talk to me anonymously. So my whole team knows we just don't reply to those people, right? So like, if you can't show your face and tell us who you are and tell us what your actual problem is so we can help you, then like we just can't all day long.
No.
So I think there's that. And then I think there's just people who just project stuff onto each other. Like, you have success in a way I haven't figured it out yet, so now I'm gonna say all these things are wrong with you, right? And just a lack of like internal self-awareness and then spewing a bunch of stuff on other people. And it is really hard, and it is really hard not to take it personally, and it's a little bit a part of the job.
Yeah.
So you just keep going and find new rules and boundaries and standards for navigating it.
Yeah, that's got to be tough with, like, especially being an attractive woman who's successful and smart and amazing and revealing and open on your social media. I'm sure you deal with a lot of negative feedback from other women, I would imagine.
Yeah, it is often other. I can't think of a time it was a man.
What does that say about us as
totally.
women? We're like talking about it as if like we're not women or something, like not part of that group.
But it's also like, I think if you're tuned into like your purpose and what you want to be doing with your life and like where you're motivated and inspired, you don't have time to hate on strangers on the internet. So I kind of always remember that, like this person just doesn't have a clear direction for their life yet.
Maybe they don't. Yeah, they don't. Well, give us your business high, like your best moment or memory of creating your business or creating a course, and then your toughest moment and what you learned from it.
There's been so many good ones. This girl comes to mind. I can think of a woman who enrolled in Money Mentality Makeover, my big money course. She enrolled in the course with her tax return. She had an abusive husband. She moved out of the house with her children and moved into a homeless shelter or a women's shelter and listened to Money Mentality Makeover every night on her phone. And then later told me, way later, you saved me. You're my lifeline. You're the reason we have an apartment and I have a job. And it's like if she would have told us, I can't afford you, I'm moving into a shelter, my team would have said, don't enroll, save your money.
Right.
Like, can we give you a special prize?
Right.
Like,
what can we do?
No, she told me later that was her experience. So there's highlights like that. And there's other moments of just like, when I got to California, I lived in Santa Barbara for a bit. I moved to Malibu. And I remember standing like on the edge of the water in Malibu, going like on the beach, just like waves crashing at my feet, going like, oh my God, I did it. Like that little 4-year-old in me that watched Beverly Hills 90210, who saw aerial views of this location, like did it. So there's like, I did it moments that feel really meaningful. And then obviously client moments. Let's see, what are the hardest moments? There's been a few moments where someone just decides that they need to take you down, like either need to take you down a peg or need to try to like cancel you or destroy you. Like one time someone decided something I wrote on the internet was about them because they, the day before, had written something about me, but I didn't see what they wrote, and I was just talking about a principle, a subject, and then they did like live streams of your favorite money guru pissed off the wrong person now, and it was like their post was relevant and valuable. I hadn't seen it yet, so then they thought my response, like, there's just moments where you're like, could we just have DM'd each other and asked like if we were talking about each other maybe, or something like that.
Like, let's get to the root of it. Let's just have a conversation.
Conversations would be good, yeah.
But we live not in that space. We live in a space where there's the internet and social media, and it's so much easier to just go there.
Totally. And then I find when you write, I wrote both these people like heartfelt replies with no response. So it's like some people don't want to have a conversation.
They don't.
Some people just want to be mad at you and assume things about you.
That sucks. How do you deal with that?
It's not about me. Like, all I can do is take the feedback, the criticisms, the learnings, and become better and be on my journey, but I can't control or change other people.
No, you can't. You can just control yourself.
Yeah.
Any other advice for people in business and in the influencer space from your own experience? What would you say?
Be influential for something. You know what I mean? Decide what you want to be influential about. Like, people care what I wear, and I'm happy to send them the links to what I wear, that's fine. But that's not the thing I want to be like known for. Like, what are we influencing people to do? Like, how are we impacting the actual world? And what are we speaking to that like really matters to us? I think that matters a lot. So decide what you, like, it's fine. I mean, influencers get to share beautiful things all day long, and that's great. Like, share your lifestyle and your beautiful clothing and your hair products, that's great. But like, what else matters to you? Like, what else do you want to be about? You know, I think I would say that. And I would also say the entrepreneurial road and journey is hard and worth it. Like, really, really worth it. Yeah.
And break the rules.
Yeah, and just do your own fucking thing and don't care how people say to do it. Totally. Yeah.
Okay, we have fun questions at the end.
Okay.
We wrote them down. You get to choose. I selected these.
Choose?
Yeah, they're not anything like, outrageous. Though I know you can handle it.
Okay. Do I have an icon? No, not really. That's boring.
All right,
I don't really
fine.
have one. Okay, give me this one. What's something people don't know about you, such as you've never mowed a lawn or you can juggle? I can do the splits all 3 ways. Left, right, and center. I can do all the splits all the way down.
That's impressive.
Thank
Were
you.
you a cheerleader?
I was
Yes.
a cheerleader. Mm-hmm.
In the good old days of Oklahoma.
Yeah, I was a competitive cheerleader.
That's incredible.
And I was very intense about it, kind of like how I'm intense about things now. Like, I was on 2 teams, multiple practices a day, yeah, the whole thing.
Okay, and since you talked about fashion and people asking always about your clothes,
Yeah.
tell us who are you wearing today?
I don't know the brands. You have to look at my tags.
All right.
The whole outfit is from Revolve, but I just don't know the brands.
That's fine. Revolve.
Yeah, these are little Revolve shorts, and this is a Revolve sweater, and these are Louboutins.
Yes, because you know they're gonna ask.
Yeah, well,
Because they always
if they
ask.
DM us, we'll link it. I don't have a problem people wanting to know what I wear, but like I
know what you're saying.
personally care that I became influential.
Because of it.
I became influential for like my business, and now I can do extra things with that.
Well, thank you so much for your time, Amanda, and everybody needs to get your book.
Everyone needs to go get my book. It's on Amazon right now.
Mm-hmm.
The ebook is available now, and the paperback will be out January 11th.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget that you can listen to all of our interviews on the IKONTUBE podcast. Please like and share this video and subscribe to our channel for more interviews. See you next time.